I'm Chris Corrente. I do a lot of things in life, but I think you probably would like to speak to me about being an artist, and so I make video art and music.
I'd like to take what's mine, except for now we only get what we have by stealing, and now we only steal.
Originally, I'm from New York. I lived there until I was a teenager, and then I moved to Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is a kind of an armpit of a town. And I would say that kind of both had equal influence on me as a human being, because in New York, there's all that constant overstimulation, and pretty much any given thing a human being could possibly want, good or bad, is available. And moving to some place that was kind of isolated after that probably is what made me into someone who had a passion for the arts and whatnot. Because you don't have a whole shitload to do. And so basically you spend a lot of time doing drugs, drinking, and making art, because if you don't have your own kind of a source of interest and generation of culture, you're not exposed to as much of it.
Neon bars behind some mason jars and a red dress.
My mother, always extremely supportive of my artwork. She appears in several of my videos. She's a great sport. Maybe too supportive to some extent. I don't think that she, as a lot of people who grew up kind of poor and in the city like she did, had the opportunity to pursue the things she loved. She just kind of, had to walk through life and just get by all the time. And so I think she may be the fact that I had dreams and aspirations beyond just living was really great for her, and she did whatever she could to kind of force me to pursue those things.
Fuck 'em if they say that life ain't fair, because we all gonna die, so I don't care. Ayo, fuck 'em if they trying to stop and stare, because I look that fly and I don't care. Ayo, fuck 'em if they hating that I'm on a tear, because I flow so tight that I don't care. Ayo, fuck 'em, they can test me if they dare, because my shit's
I moved to San Francisco when I was 24 years old. I moved here to attend art school. Wasn't a big fan of education. I dropped out of high school, and so there was an 8-year gap between my high school and my college. I kind of moved here, though, just because I needed just to refresh myself. And I think I had a lot of unhealthy habits that I had to definitely just kind of flee from, and so I needed a chance to start over, and art school seemed like basically a default thing to do, and so I went for it. I spent 6 years at the San Francisco Art Institute studying new genres. I got both my bachelor's and master's degree out of the ordeal. What attracted me to the place, frankly, was one that it was in the city, and it's kind of the only viable fine art school here. Maybe it's different now, but at the time I was looking, even SVA, which was the other school I was accepted to in New York, I needed to go through all these fundamentals that I had absolutely no interest in. I was 24 years old. I did have a practice established and know just what I wanted to do, and it didn't involve anything that had to do with, two-dimensional or flat media, and most art schools track you through those things, and so just that freedom attracted me and kept me. It's really difficult for me to decide if the experience at the San Francisco Art Institute was worth it, because there's, theoretical, intellectual interests that I definitely think were taken care of in my time there. Tuition's very high. I have a boatload of debt, as do a lot of people in my generation, no matter what they studied. It's absolutely, logistically, in that regard, not worth anything. The good thing about it is that I do believe that if you're an intelligent human being, you can leverage your art degree into things that don't have much to do with art. But for the sake of pursuing art, having a degree is essentially a meaningless thing. I'm sure there's a small circle of institutionalized and academized galleries and stuff who really care about those things, but for the most part, just being on the scene is the main thing you get from going to art school. You pay for networking possibilities, and I'm not sure you have to pay for those. But I do think that I grew massively as a human being from the experience. I have no regrets about it. I don't know if I'd advise someone to go to art school, though.
making love like every day. We'll be making love like every day. Making love like every day. We'll be making love every day.
The internet as a whole is my, greatest obsession and love as far as media goes. I love anything that goes viral. I've always been of the belief that consensus opinion actually dictates quality. I would gladly make the case that Britney Spears is better than your favorite underground band just because enough people agree. And the internet provides, I think, more freedom for the populace to choose, and thus we get a more authentic version of that quality through consensus I'm talking about. So many people agree something is funny or good or worth seeing. I think there's no argument. People ask me a lot what my favorite piece of my own is, and it's actually not something I can answer. I do have a couple personal favorite things I've done. There's a music album, it's called Beauty Is, and I spent a lot of time on it. I worked on it in a way that I'll likely never work on anything else. And so I have a very strong emotional connection with it. I also made it at a time when I was in a very dark and strange place, so I think it's extremely communicative, at least to me. And then as far as the video work goes, a not too long ago rap video I made called Hyperbole. I'm really big on that one right now.
I got some bragging to do. I wanna impress you, cause I need overwhelming fame. And to make it in this game, you need hyperbole to be larger than life and to make sure.
Usually my public image is extremely disparate from my private image, but I also think it's important to kind of show the other side, because you don't always find yourself in a position where people are going to embrace a crafted image. So I think it's important that we all have personal personas and art personas, but that we find a balance between them.